You know, there's something interesting that happens when we're constantly being bombarded by the latest and greatest things. We forget that there's some things, some old-fashioned things that are worth holding on to. Things that not only had a hand in shaping who we are, but also might just help save us from ourselves in this fast-paced modern world. So today I'm going to share with you a few old-fashioned habits that we should never give up. Let's start with something that's probably gathering a little bit of dust in your life right now, and that is the handwritten letter. Now, I know we have text and email for everything, and I get it. It's quick, it's easy, but there is something magical about receiving a letter. Writing a letter requires time, thought, and attention. And in a world where we're just swiping through life at lightning speed, writing a letter forces us to actually slow down. And there's something irreplaceable about a handwritten letter that technology just cannot replicate. It can be like receiving a hug on paper, and there's beauty in the imperfection of it. The smudges on the paper, the words that were crossed out, it's not just a way to communicate, but it holds a piece of our essence as well. So here's the challenge. The next time you want to say something to someone you care about, skip the text. Sit down and write a letter. I promise you it'll be one of the most thoughtful things you do today, and the person who receives it will likely keep it for years. In an age where music is digital files, there is something deeply nostalgic about vinyl records. Old school records demand your attention in a way that streaming just doesn't. I was talking with my friend Marissa about this, and she was saying that her vinyl records create an entire experience for her, a ritual, if you will. The whole thing of choosing an album and then dropping the needle down and hearing that little crackle at the beginning. There may be some slight imperfection in the sound, but it's textured and rich and warm. And looking at the album covers, which are also a window into the world of the artist and reflects the culture of the time. Vinyl brings us back to a very interactive and engaging way to enjoy music, slowing us down and offering a rich, intentional experience. So the next time you find yourself overwhelmed with endless digital content, spin a record, take a moment, slow down, pause, and unwind. We live in a world that is constantly on the go. Quick bites, fast food, and eating while we're scrolling on our phones. But in the midst of all this rush, there is something incredibly grounding about sitting down to a proper meal. I'm not talking about those Instagram-worthy meals that we all feel sometimes pressured to create, but I'm talking about just ordinary, nourishing food that's prepared with care, whether it's a hearty stew or a salad made with fresh ingredients or a simple soup. The act of sitting down to eat, not standing up, not distracted by the TV or multitasking. This creates space for something deeper. It forces us to pause, give thanks, and acknowledge and appreciate the effort that went into the preparation of our food. I don't know about you, but some of the most meaningful conversations I've ever had have happened over meals. Family dinners, dinner parties, or just sharing a pot of tea with someone special. It's those moments that nourish us in ways that go far beyond food. It's the laughter, the shared stories, and the comfort of just being present. Now let's talk about the irreplaceable charm of collecting physical books. Our digital age has made it possible to have an entire library located onto a single device, but the tangible nature of books is something else. There's a whole sensory experience that goes along with books, from the weight of it in your hand to the feel of the paper to the smell of the pages. It's like it's telling a story before you even start reading it. There's also that moment of self-satisfaction when you organize all your books by genre or author. And books also make great conversation starters. I've met a couple of really good friends over the years just by commenting on a book that they happen to be carrying, and vice versa. And when guests come over, don't you just love it when they walk over to your bookshelf and they say, "Oh wow, what great taste in books you have. How do you have time to read all of these?" It's like, well, actually, I haven't read all of them. And I'm looking at you, Oxford Book of English Verse, and I will get to it someday. Next is creating beauty in your home. This is a real gem because it's not just about furnishings and decor, it's about energy and intention and atmosphere. When we talk about beauty in our surroundings, we want a space that nurtures us and uplifts us. It's about fostering an environment that helps us thrive. You see, in this fast-paced world, we often forget about the power of our surroundings, how a room can embrace us and soothe us and inspire us. Old-fashioned homes were never just a place to live. They were a place to experience life. And creating a space where every detail tells a story is lovely, where beauty isn't reserved for just special occasions, but it's woven into the fabric of everyday life. It's the vintage tablecloth you put on the dining table, or the mismatched but beloved china that you collect, the soft hum of your favorite music playing in the background, and the table that you sit at, not just for meals, but to connect and converse. And these small details is where all the magic happens. We all know how those game nights go. The trash talk, the strategy, the crazy arguments over Monopoly. Whether it's Scrabble or charades, nothing brings people together like a great game night, so let's not let technology take that from us. Have you ever found yourself staring at the phone, wondering if you should call a friend and you don't really have any special reason? No agenda, no deep conversation, just a, "Hi, how are you doing this week?" Now, this is something we used to do all the time in times past, and it's fallen by the wayside, but I'm here to tell you it's time to make it a resurgence because this little act is life-changing. Seriously, it's like pressing the reset button on your soul, and let me explain why. First of all, we're living in this big chaotic world, and we're all doing our best to balance work and responsibilities and trying to find our keys and all the rest of it. It can feel overwhelming, and while interacting on social media can give us a little bit of connection, it just isn't the same as hearing a real voice. There's happiness to be found in relationships, and we need people, not just for those deep, life-changing conversations, but it's those small little exchanges that help us feel seen and heard. It doesn't always have to be profound. You don't need to solve the world's problems in one phone call. Sometimes it's just laughing about the ridiculous things that we do. It's these tiny interactions that keep us grounded in a fast-paced world. So calling a friend, even if it's just to talk about how your cat knocked over your coffee mug again, creates these little moments of connection. And trust me, these moments stack up and they build something deeper than we realize. So the next time you're feeling a little disconnected, pick up the phone, call a friend, and just chat. You might not realize it, but you're doing more than just talking. You're building happiness one conversation at a time. So let's keep calling, let's keep chatting, and let's keep showing up for each other. I am committed to making your home and your life better, and I appreciate you spending some of your day with me. Many blessings to you and your families. Take care, and we'll catch you in the next one.